Yo, guys, what's up? And welcome back to the Marvelous Chats podcast. This is episode 191. Tonight on the cast is myself, Finto, and Alex, aka Zabrewolf. We're going to be talking about Daredevil Born Again, Season 2, Episode 1, and some other nerdy news. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and leave us a like on the video. If you're watching a replay, leave us a comment below. Let us know what you think. Without further ado, here we go. Yo, what's up,
Hey
dude?
man, how's it going?
How are you?
Pretty good,
good,
pretty
man.
good.
We're doing it again. How have you
good.
been, man? I know it was your birthday. Happy belated. I hope you had a good one.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it was really fun. Had a good time. You know, the day before my birthday was a cracking game, so I was able to get to that. And of course we lost because it was against the fucking Avalanche. So they're pretty hot shit right now. Really couldn't do much. Ended in I think what 5-1. But at least we weren't shut out. That's all that mattered to me. I was like, as long as we don't shut out,
Yeah.
that's all that matters.
What was
so
the
with
score in the
that,
end?
I think it was 5-1.
Oh, shit. Okay.
No big deal. I mean, I knew it was going to happen.
Could be worse.
Yeah, it could be a 10-0.
Yeah.
Or a 10-2, you know. What was it? Who what was the Islanders?
I think that happened to the Rangers this year.
Was it the Rangers? Yeah,
Yeah.
something. I thought it was like with the Islanders or something like that.
No, I think it was Boston, maybe. I can't really remember. Hang on, let me see. I think it was 10-2. They lost to the Bruins.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It's cool though. We're having a tank here. It's all good. We're losing on purpose, so it's fine.
At this point, just to get a better like lottery in the in the roster. Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, better chances at a lottery win. So, there's no point. Like, there's no point in them even bothering to do anything. You know.
Yeah, that's fair.
It is what it is.
I mean, the last game, last night's game was actually pretty good. I think it was like first period there was nothing going on. Second period there was like, I think they got 2 or 3. I think it was like 3 or 4 in like the opposing team. I think it was against the Panthers, and they got 4 in. We managed to get 1, and then all of a sudden in the third period, for some reason they got the lead out of their ass and they scored like 3 shots in like 3 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes.
It happens, bro.
They caught up, went to OT, nothing happened, went to shootout, and we lost. But like, I was just happy that we got a point because we had been on a losing streak. Like, and we're still technically losing, but I'm just glad we got a point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, fucking A, man.
We went on a bit of a streak there for the last, over the last 10 days. I think we're like 6-4-1 or something like that. Like, so like they actually were performing, and like it was funny because all the jokes on socials were like, I thought we were meant to be tanking. You can't even do that right. So it's been that kind of season where the fans are literally just ripping the piss no matter what. So
yeah,
it's funny.
Yeah.
So obviously you were off last week. I went live for like an hour and just kind of hung out with the people and watched the Spider-Man trailer. Did some kind of live breakdown of it. That was fun. And I went to watch the Dune trailer, and then the YouTube stream got like a strike off Warner Brothers. So I was like, whoops. Right. Yeah. But I was dual streaming on Twitch as well. So it was fine. The stream went on over there for a little longer, but that was fun. So I might start doing them a little bit more when you're not around, just to kind of keep the channel alive. But the next couple of weeks are going to be fucking crazy busy. Like, we have at the moment already, Invincible is on. That's airing weekly now. You've got Daredevil, which just started yesterday, I only got a chance to watch it today. Obviously, I'm still watching like One Piece as well. I'm chipping away through that, and I'm watching The Pit as well. We're gonna have The Boys in like 2 weeks' time as well. Like, it's fucking crazy the amount of stuff that's on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Insane. It's a good complaint to have. I just wish it was spread out a little bit more. It'd be nice to kind of just focus episodes directly on Daredevil, and then maybe, like, obviously I know they don't care about each other, but like, it would be nice if Invincible wasn't on at the same time, and then we could have other shit to talk about rather than having to kind of split up episodes and maybe, we not intentionally but just focus more on one subject for one episode, and then maybe we don't even talk about it the next week. It just kind of messes with the consistency of the reviewing,
Mhm.
which is kind of shitty. But look, it is what it is. Have you watched any of Invincible season 4 yet?
No, I've been really busy, man. It's the This is the like I did on call. On call was busy. It was quite stressful actually. So like just did not have any time to like really decompress and watch anything. It was just kind of like, I would watch the game and then just be done. I've been watching baseball as well, so like I'm checking out the spring training and trying to get into that and whatnot. So like I haven't had a chance to like watch any shows or anything going on, like nothing. So but I'm expecting to catch up very soon. I'm just finally getting off on call. It's my last on call, probably, until whenever I change jobs. Because I'm essentially changing what my position is going to be. But I'm still working for the same client. I'm just no longer doing ops work. I'm going to be doing dev work.
That's cool.
Yeah. So with that being said, like no more on call, so I should be available, you know.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we can talk about rescheduling it for a different day or whatever if that helps you out. Like it doesn't have to be on
No,
Wednesdays. Like that doesn't really bother me. Like
no, I'm saying I'm no longer doing on call.
no, I know, but I know it's at a kind of silly time in the afternoon for you. Like so,
No,
if
that's perfect.
okay, that's
Like
good.
it works for
Happy
me.
days.
If it doesn't, yeah, if it doesn't work for you, let me know.
No, man, it's it's nearly 11 p.m. at night here, so it can't go much later than it is now for me. Um, so look, it is what it is.
The,
We'll make do.
yeah, the only difference is that I don't remember if I told you, like, but I am going to a Mariners game on the 31st, which is going to be out of town, like, because we're hours away from Seattle. We're on the east side of Washington, and Seattle's on the west, of course. So
That's cool.
we go in on the 31st, and we're probably going to be staying with family on the 1st. So I won't be able to, like, effectively be here. I don't know uh when Katie's going to be done with her work, but she's basically going to work at the house. And whenever she's done, then we'll be on our way back, and probably not expecting to be back until, like, I don't know, five our time.
Yeah, no, it's fine, man. Don't worry about it.
No.
I yeah, I don't know. I'll think about next week when we get to it, but I just there's so much content, as I was just saying, that I think taking weeks off now is just going to be just too. It's going to be too much. Like there's going to be too much to talk about. So I might go live maybe solo next week and just kind of review some of the current stuff, um, and then just pick up when you get back. Then you can just jump
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
when you're back. I think is probably the best because next week is 2 episodes of Daredevil, and then there's going to be another Invincible, and whatever else is happening. You know what I mean? And then the week after,
Right.
it's fucking The Boys on top of that as well. So it's just intense, man. It's intense. There's a lot going on, and then as well, which is good news. I'm not giving out about this, but the week, I think it's the week. I don't know if it's the same day or if it's the week after, but the second after Daredevil ends, they're going to show the Punisher special, which is like the hour-long kind of Werewolf by Night style kind of presentation or whatever they're calling them, special presentations. Is that what they're calling them? So yeah, that's going to be cool. So we'll have like Daredevil, and that'll roll directly into that. And I think I don't know if it's the Spider-Man trailer kind of maybe ruined a little bit of what's going to be happening in these seasons because I don't know if you watched the trailer for Spider-Man. I hope you did. It's literally I think it's like the biggest like trailer of all time or something crazy. Like it broke like 1 billion views in less than a week or something insane. And in that trailer, you see Peter getting the key to the city for New York. So with what's going on in Daredevil, like it's very much like the polar opposite of that right now. You know what I mean? Like in episode 1 of the show, the anti-task force are just in full swing. They're hunting heroes, like, you know what I mean? So the fact that Spidey's getting the key to the city, they're kind of maybe telling us that, this whole regime is gonna just lose. So that kind of sucks. I think I obviously it's not gonna last forever, like that's fine, but it's like This movie's out in a couple of months, and it looks like it's already over. So my guess is probably by the end of this season, or maybe with the release of the Punisher thing. Like the Punisher, I think it's called One Last Kill or something. Maybe he kills Fisk in it or something. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I think they're kind of giving it away a little bit. But
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is. I suppose we have to watch and wait. But to kind of jump in, I know you said I asked you before we went live if you'd seen Daredevil. You said you hadn't. So spoilers. But basically, I'll just give a kind of brief kind of breakdown of what's happening in the episode. So we got one episode. I booted up Disney Plus. It was like 53 minutes long. I was like, yes, this is great. Off to a good start. I can't stand when they only do like one episode and it's like 32 minutes long. And there's like 6 minutes of credits at the end. So you're like, we're getting fucking nothing here. So it was nice to see that it was a 53-minute episode. So I was like, okay, this is good. We're going to kick off pretty good here. And it kind of starts like the original show, nearly. Like it's like they're down by the docks and, he's like creeping onto like a ship and kicking the shit out of a bunch of people and stuff. And I was like, oh, this is kind of like back to form. And there's like the scene has like red lights and stuff like that. It kind of reminded me then of like the staircase scene of season 2. So they're kind of like strumming on the nostalgia strings a little bit, but it worked. It was really cool. And we get to see the black suit with the red double D's like right off the bat, which I'm like, this is great. Like this show has like so many times in the past, this show has like been, cock teased us for a whole season, like waiting to see the suit. And then even like with the first season of the new show, it's like he's already been Daredevil for years and you're gonna like hide the suit from us again. Like, it's like it just felt so bad. And like even like when season 3, I remember when the original season 3 came out, like, and it was like he went back to being like in the mask and stuff, and it was just like, oh man, like they're just constantly like back and forth with the suits and stuff. It was just a nice kind of refreshing change of pace that like the first frame that we see Daredevil, he's full blown in costume. Like it's great. It's really, really cool. Yeah, and there's good choreography, good like fight scenes in it, which I think the first season of the show, I don't know if it was like some of it felt a little, not to say bad, but it felt different. It didn't feel as good. I remember thinking, like, when the first episode of season 1 aired, I remember thinking like, Jesus, they went way too far with the CGI and stuff, and I didn't like it. Like, when he was like jumping over the rooftops and all, it looked really fake and really bad. I felt like they went too far in the whole kind of unrealistic stuff in that sense, and then they kind of tried to like strip it back in the second half of the season, and then it kind of felt even worse. So I was kind of like, oh, they don't really know where they're landing here. But now this season now, to me, in like kind of feel and vibes, definitely feels like the original show, the Netflix show. Like the choreography is more grounded and it seems realistic. Like it's like a martial artist, right? And it's gruesome, of course, like as it should be. And it feels a little more grounded. Like I think they've kind of taken notes. It feels like when you're watching this episode, like that they've taken feedback and they've changed stuff accordingly to kind of maybe make some of the fan base happier. Because I think it's quite well known, like that the first season had its problems. Like I didn't think it was terrible, and at the start of this episode you get a recap of what happened before, and like watching the recap I was like, yeah, like there was a lot of really good stuff in the first season, like when you're kind of getting a recap fairly quickly. But at the same time I was like, there was a lot of kind of garbage in there as well. So
absolutely,
yeah. So it's cool. Like, my missus was watching it and she's like, I've forgotten all of these people, who they are, and like, they're it's like, why do we care about these people and stuff, like, and she's kind of right, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, give us like Karen and Matt and stuff like that, like, and if you want to introduce a couple of new characters, fine, but like it does feel like pretty much the entire cast is new, and they didn't really, you kind of feel like they didn't really delve into too many backstories in it. So like I didn't find it to be that much of a problem, but there is a lot of new faces in the show, and it kind of feels like it did just leave off. Now, we didn't do a rewatch or anything like that, like, and obviously the recap kind of sparked a lot of my memories, but obviously not for her, and she just felt a little bit lost and a little bit bored because they were kind of building on the story for a good chunk of the episode. But they did have 2 pretty good fight scenes in it, and the final fight scene of the episode, like, it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Do you know the dude in season 1 who's like the retired cop who starts kind of doing like PI work for him.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. He has a oh my god, I can't remember his name. But anyway, you know the guy I'm talking about. He's basically a couple of the anti-task force guys break into his house and they're beating the shit out of him. And Daredevil comes in, just kicks the fuck out of everyone, but gets his ass kicked at the same time because he hears that your man's having a heart attack and he gets distracted and he gets KO'd. And then basically the guys literally unmask him, and they're like, "Holy shit, that's Matt Murdock!" And then just like bullets come flying through the windows and stuff, and like all the agents just get shot and killed straight away. And you're just like, because I was thinking, no way these guys are gonna know who he is. Like that's crazy, straight away. And then a knife comes through the window and lands on the floor, and it's like the bullseye logo on it. And he's like, "You're welcome." I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude!" It was so epic, man. It was such a good fucking. It was so good, man. It was such a good end to the first episode because I absolutely love that bullseye character. I think he's fucking brilliant. He just plays the character so well. He's so good. But yeah, it was really good, really good. I thought it was a great start. So yeah, definitely check it out.
Will do. Yeah, of course. Like I said, I'm planning to catch up pretty soon.
Well, if you can catch up before next week, you only have one episode, so you don't have far to go. But what was it? Invincible, I think, had 3 episodes that aired for the intro to season 4, which I thought it was only 2, and I watched them and I was like, oh my god, there's another one. And I haven't even checked Amazon today. There's probably another one now. I think they can release on Wednesdays as well. So we've got a bunch. Like, it's just crazy, man. The amount of stuff that's coming out is it's wild. It's absolutely wild. But yeah, that started off really well. Again, I haven't read the comics or anything, so it's all new to me. I've seen a couple of spoilers online from like posts and stuff like that. But again, it's most of the story. I'm kind of viewing it for the first time, so it is kind of cool. But yeah, it's good. It's really good. It's really, really good. They did release another one, says Connor. Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah.
I'll have to watch that one tomorrow, my lunch break or something. Because again, my missus doesn't watch Invincible, so I watch that one on my own time. And then, for stuff that we watch together, we usually watch it after the kids go to bed. Like, but yeah, I can watch Invincible during the school day. I have been slowly trying to drip through One Piece as well. Like it hasn't been terrible, but it hasn't like kind of gripped me as much as the first season did. I don't know what it is, but like it's kind of interesting. Like I'm not hating it, but I'm not loving it either, and I don't know if that's like a reflection of the story that's going on, or if it's just not as good as the first season. Like, do you think it's worse than the first season, or better, or on par with it, or what?
It's doing the exact same thing that it did in the first season, and it's not really hitting the same way that it should. They've definitely upped the budget, but it's not enough for me to think that it's well within like my standards of the show, especially because I've watched the anime, and that's kind of the yeah, and that's the problem. Is like I watched the anime, I know what happens, I've been through all the episodes. I didn't watch One Piece or anything. I watched the entire thing as it was originally intended to be. And to be honest, they like even Oda agrees that like with the current design of One Piece, the way that it's set up is not good for the new audience. The more modern audience is not going to fare well with the original design of the show, where everything is kind of like very much a samurai kind of showdown style, where things take time to kind of reach that climax or that important moment. It gives you a lot of suspense, and it's very Japanese oriented.
Yeah,
and most Americans don't really think to have patience and understanding for the culture behind that, especially if they've read the manga, because the manga's not going to take its time. The manga's going to be like shot for shot, and that's completely fine. I understood the assignment that they had like at the time, and plus they needed to make, they were on a journey to make 1,000 episodes or more. And like, do you really like? I don't know. In my head, it's like, do you really want to make it so quick, or do you want to try to drag it as far as you can, give it that suspense, and then give it a well deserved payoff? And to be honest, I prefer the payoff. Watching everything, like even when they did Fishman Island, they did a remake of it, and I tried to watch an episode, and I immediately could tell like some of the stuff that they cut. And so I was looking at some of the differences that they made. And yeah, like they, for the people that were like, I checked comments and, especially on Reddit, and they're like, they cut the scene where Nami's hugging Usopp, and it's basically a close up of Usopp's like face, like buried in Nami's boobs. But like that it's not the fact that like that's any sort of like service to like, it's not a fan service thing, in my opinion. It's not a gesture of like, oh my God, look at her boob. It's just literally she's excited to hug him and to see him after 2 years of being away. And of course she's going to have assets as a woman. Like, what do you expect? She's going to hug. She's going to be homely. She's going to be happy to see her friend. They're not like that.
Yeah. There's no flat tests in anime from what I've seen anyway.
Well,
very few.
Yeah. Well, like the design of the Straw Hats is like, none of them really have a romantic relationship. It's literally just the journey together.
Yeah.
And even then, the way I've seen a lot of the stories that have been like going forward, none of the pirates from any of the crews, as far as I remember, have ever had a relationship with anybody on the ship that wasn't already part of the crew.
Fair.
So what I mean by that is like, there's characters that like join the crew later, but they're already married, or they join the crew, they find someone off the ship, like on an island or something, and that they fall in love with, and then they have a kid with, and then they kind of sail off. Like it's the same thing. Like Usopp's father, like Yasop, like he met this lady on Syrup Village. They had Usopp, and then he's like, I gotta go be a pirate, bye. And he just took off. And that's kind of the case. Like a lot of pirates, they have their kids and then they go back to adventuring, which that sounds about right to me.
Yeah.
So like,
that's the life.
Yeah. So when you're trying to work together, I think relationships don't matter in that sense. And like the only exception is maybe Sanji, but like Sanji's just kind of doting on everyone. And with the live action, they've really toned down a lot of what the characters represent in the anime and in the manga, because Sanji in the live action is definitely a lot less of a, what's the word? Like a lot less of a like romantic type, and more so of a nurturing kind of like sentimental, or like he does flirt a little bit, but it's like very subtle, as opposed to Sanji in the anime, who's like
Playboy.
clearly shoves away the men and only checks on the women. So, and I've seen comments where people are like, "Oh man, I actually really like this live action Sanji. He's a lot more homely. He's got better vibes. He's not like creeping on women." And I'm like, "What do you mean creeping? Like he doesn't do anything to make, like, as far as I can tell, he's never really made anybody uncomfortable. The only people that are uncomfortable are probably the people that don't understand why he even cares about women."
Yeah.
And you'll see, like, not to give too many spoilers on your end, because I don't know how far you are, but you'll see there's a conversation between Nami and Sanji referring to his mom. And to be fair, like, you don't know who his mom is until like when you get to Whole Cake Island, when they do the backstory of that whole situation and find out why he hates men and loves women. Which it's a huge point in his story, which kind of like gives, like, you'll look at it and you'll be like, oh, that's why he really cares and like only really wants to, focus on women and feel like women are just like the love of his life and whatnot. And he wants to flirt with all of them because in his childhood, all of his brothers and even his father abused him. They jailed him. They said he died. They beat the shit out of him and thought he was a weak piece of shit and a failure. All the while, his sister like was making sure that he was taken care of, like kind of treated his wounds and whatnot. And then even his mom, before she passed away, was like, he would make food for her and she would pretend like it's delicious, even if it was garbage, because she knew it would make him feel better and it would make him feel like loved and like be kind to at least one gender. So like it's this whole situation, and then people are like, why is Sanji's like going so hard on women? It's like, dude, do you not understand how much he loves them for the fact that like he was raised by good women and horrible men? It's like it's that's how you see it. Like you become like you gain that connection to the genders that like you should be okay with. Like me personally, I was raised by my mom, and I like she was a single mother for the majority of the time. I did have a stepfather at the time, and he was okay. There were moments where he was fine, but there were other moments where he was kind of rough. Like he was kind of mean. It's kind of an asshole. But he taught me how to work. He taught I don't hate him, but like it definitely has shown that I'm more wary about men than I am about women, because my mom showed me like the most love ever. She never made me feel like her love had any conditions. It was pure unconditional love, and that's exactly what you need when you're a kid. You need that pure love from both parents to have a stable and like concrete understanding that like not everybody's an asshole.
That's the goal, man. That's the goal, 100%.
Yeah. So like it's all of these different and again, dude, like it's whenever it's One Piece, I could go on for fucking ever. The story, like I'm telling you, man, the stories that they tell in the show are incredibly relatable. It's just most people will see one part and go and just think, ugh. But for the most part, there's a reason.
Yeah. No, it is. You can tell it's deep, but
the live action kind of speed runs all that.
Yeah, true. Like I get a little bit of it, but yeah, it's the depth of it, obviously within 1,000 or 1,100 episodes or whatever it is crazy. Well, and like even on episode 3, right, where they're fighting, they're fighting a couple of the numbers and the names. I'll just call them. I don't really know which. I can't remember what numbers it is. Like 9 and 5 and Miss Wednesday and Miss Monday or whatever the fuck they're called. But like, I'd say that happening in like the anime is probably like hundreds of episodes in, is it?
It's the span of like it's a span of like a multi-arc kind of situation where it kind of leads into that. So when you start in the Grand Line, you do get to Laboon. They changed that dynamic in the live action vastly because I think Luffy does end up outside of the whale for a while.
So funny, man. To stop you for a sec, because I know I've heard you talk about this whale like so many times. You've talked about this whale more than the show actually showed him, which I thought was quite funny at the end of it, because I was like, when I saw him popping up in episode 2, I was like, oh, here's the fucking whale he keeps talking about. Here we go. This is the big story. And it was just over in like 20 minutes. I was like, okay.
It's crazy. Well, like, which is kind of fitting because the that arc, I think it's literally an arc. It's literally 2 episodes. It's just like, here's the whale, and then here's like the story behind the whale, and here's also Crocus, and here's the story behind Crocus. They changed that drastically between the anime and the live action as well, because in the anime, maybe he does, like, I'm pretty sure either everybody gets swallowed up or maybe Luffy gets like knocked around and he gets like stuck in a certain part of the whale. But they all end up inside the whale. It's massive because the whale is so gigantic, and it's stomach acids or whatever the water is like he's retaining is considered like the sea. It almost looks like an entirely new sea when you're inside the whale. and Crocus lives inside the whale.
Yeah.
So he lives inside the whale. He's reading the newspaper, and all of the crew meet Crocus at once, except for Luffy, I think. I could be wrong. I can't remember verbatim because that's a long time ago. But that's kind of the dynamic. Is like they meet Crocus, they get to find out who he is and what he's doing. He's essentially created like armor plating inside the whale because the whale keeps fucking slamming into the fucking into the mountain because he's trying to get back to the other side because he doesn't know where, you know, the Rumba pirates are. And so the idea is that Luffy finds out about this, fights Laboon, and essentially they kind of come to a stalemate. And then Luffy's like, okay, now that we fought, you are now my rival. I don't want you hitting this mountain until I get back, and we're going to have our fight, and we're going to finish the fight. And then let me also paint my Jolly Roger on you, because if you like scratch this up, if like you mess up this Jolly Roger, I'm going to know you've been hitting this mountain. Don't ruin it. So yeah. So because the idea is because Laboon had his agenda to make his way over the mountain and try to find the pirates, Luffy created a new reason to not hit the mountain and created a new reason to exist and not hurt himself. And so he's like, wait, we'll come back. As soon as we finish our journey, we'll come back. I don't recall Luffy ever finding out about the whole the Rumbar pirates, to be honest. Like, I don't recall if he like remembers any of that. But essentially, you don't find out that Laboon is tied to Brook or the Rumbar pirates until like Thriller Bark, which is 300 or so episodes in. And so then that kind of gives you that feeling of like, holy shit, it's doing a callback to this fucking to this whale that we met at the beginning of the Grand Line.
Yeah. And
this guy is related to that whale, and he's still alive. We can go tell Laboon that he's still alive. But like the idea also is that like Luffy wants to continue the journey. And so he's like, he wants to take Brook with him on the ship. And so Brook is like, I would love to join you, but I can't because I made a promise to someone. Guess who it is? A fucking whale. It's and it's just this like nice connection that you get, and it's such a good callback. And then they tell him, it's like, oh, Laboon? We met Laboon. He's still alive. He's waiting for you guys. And then Brook is just bawling. He is bawling in tears because he is so happy to know that Laboon is still alive and that he's waiting for him. So then he goes, you know what? Now that I know this, I'm going to join you, and we're going to finish the journey, and then we'll go see Laboon.
Nice.
So like that's how it pans out in the anime. In the live action, they just kind of really speed run that shit. They give you some perspective on the Rumbar pirates. They show you Brook, which to be honest, like I really like that actor who played Brook. He did a really good job. I thought he did the laugh pretty well too. And then essentially, you know, gave you a bit of like the backstory. But I thought it was so weird that Luffy, like, they really powered down Luffy. Because like,
what's that about?
I just don't think they have the budget.
Like the budget's pretty high too, if I'm not mistaken. Like it's a good chunk. Like the first season was extremely successful.
Right. But I think they put it all into props and certain effects and bringing out more of these different characters. Honestly, you didn't really need to see Alvida too much. Like they pushed Alvida up on the list of like relevant people.
Yeah.
During that episode. Like it's more so Buggy that has the fucking vendetta. Alvida's there is because like Luffy fought and won against Alvida, and she kind of wanted a rematch, but also kind of is expressing her affection towards him because he was like the first man to like ever really stand up to her.
Mm-hmm.
And then like all of these different emotions come to play. Also, Bartolomeo, you're not supposed to know about that fucker until like 600 episodes in on the anime. So they put him in the forefront, and they're like, you know what? We're going to have this guy be an essential piece now.
Who's he again?
Exactly.
Have I
No.
met him in the first 3 episodes?
You met him in the first episode. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't even remember.
This is the guy with the green hair. Besides Zoro, he's the guy with the green hair.
I was gonna say, yeah,
he has
Zoro
he has a nose ring. He has canines, like sharp canines, like fangs, essentially.
Oh, sorry, I do know him. Yeah. Luffy's hanging out with him in episode 1.
Yeah, which never.
He's trying to rob Luffy or something, isn't he? And then he figures out he's a pirate or whatever. Yeah, sorry, I do remember.
Essentially.
Yes, sorry. Yeah.
So in the anime, like I'll be briefer about this one. In the anime, like you don't meet him until you get to Dressrosa, and then even then you think he's an asshole, and then you find out that he's actually a huge fan of the Straw Hat Pirates because he was in fact at the execution platform when Luffy was about to die.
Yeah.
He saw Luffy say, "I'm going to be king of the pirates," and then lightning struck and saved him. And essentially, he made it out, and then he thought it was a sign saying like this really is going to be the king of the pirates, and so he started following their journey and learning about them, learning all about the Straw Hats and whatnot, basically becoming a huge fanboy. In the live action, they made it less apparent about that because they wanted to kind of I don't know if they just felt like they didn't have enough to work with the current characters because they skipped a lot. They really did. So they skipped the scene where Luffy finds the bar that Gold Roger used to go to all the time. So then they missed that conversation between the bartender and Luffy, where Luffy says something that's akin to Gold Roger. The idea about going to Loketown is to essentially show that Luffy is saying the exact same thing that Roger used to say when he was pirating. Mm-hmm. So showing that there's a very strong resemblance and a very big possibility that he really is going to fit the same shoes as Roger.
Yeah.
The show
is he in any way related to him?
No.
Okay. I thought they were kind of maybe hinting at that. Like at the end of the last episode I watched, there was like I don't know if it was like a picture on the wall or something. I don't know if they were trying to maybe insinuate that or something, but obviously not.
I can give you a spoiler.
Yeah, I don't really
if you'd
care.
like.
Go for it, yeah.
You met Luffy's dad.
Okay. In the live action already.
Yes. You don't know it's Luffy's dad, but it's Luffy's dad. And
Luffy doesn't know obviously either as well. Does he?
Nope.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't met his dad. He never met his dad technically. So do you remember that scene where Luffy is fighting against Smoker and then Smoker's hand gets grabbed by the guy in the cloak?
This is in season 1.
No, it's season 2.
Sorry. Oh yeah, I think I do. Yeah.
That was his dad. And then that was his dad. And he's basically like trying to save Luffy in the sense and help him leave so that he can make it to the Grand Line. But we don't know that yet. And the show is I think the show this time actively pushed that it wasn't like apparent that was Luffy's dad yet.
Mm-hmm.
But the weird thing, in my opinion, and like is the guy in the top hat in the background when he's like standing there. I'm not going to mention too much about that guy. Like you'll find out about him later. That's kind of a major spoiler in that sense. But that guy's important. What Roger said at the beginning of the episode as well with the conversation with Garp was really important. Also, that conversation doesn't happen until like Marineford, which is like, I don't know, close to 500 episodes in on the anime. So like they're really tossing in all of these different aspects that we're not supposed to know until way later.
Yeah.
But maybe they're just worried that like it's not ever going to come to that point when they get to that those scenes or something. Or maybe they have like other things in mind to kind of fill in for certain moments in different arcs, because like let's say we go into Impel Down. Like Impel Down is going to be such a bitch. It's going to cost so much fucking money to like the budget has to be through the roof at that point. Because
I was looking at the budgets while you were talking there. Season 1 they were saying was around 150 million, and season 2 I think is around 180 to maybe 200. So it's a little more than the first season, but like to put that into perspective, like the second season, or sorry, the combination of seasons 1 and 2 of Andor, for example, was like almost 800 million.
Mm-hmm.
And like that show like didn't have anything like over the top spectacular, like, you know.
which to me it's like for 800 million, then they're essentially trying to pay these high-end actors to
But they wouldn't even get that much money like either. Like I just don't know where them. I don't know how Disney hand out the money, but it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Because like, even if you think of like say like Samuel L. Jackson for example, like probably got for the Secret Invasion show that cost like
Mhm.
250, and I'd say he probably got like 25. Do you know what I mean? So like,
Well,
and I don't think that's even in the like the budget. I don't think includes wages as far as I know. Because
it's
like
so odd, man.
if you think about Secret Wars, how much the salary budget for that movie would be. Like Downey alone is getting like 100 million.
It's ridiculous, man. Like I get it.
Crazy.
Like you have these high-end actors who essentially need to finish the story. And I think that when they were trying to portray different characters or put themselves in different stories and whatnot, they didn't take from the source material, and or they did and they were just trying to get really cutesy and creative about it and try to see if they can budget away from some of those spectacular shit that they do in the comics.
Hmm.
And it really put a wrench in their plans because people hate it, because they didn't try to make it any better than what they were expecting it to be. They were thinking that we were gonna take it as like essentially take it as a shit sandwich and make us eat it and see if we'll grin. You know, it's like so. It's such a middle finger to the face. Like, why would you do that? Why would you alienate like a handful of our fans, like just to create an agenda for, the normal crowd? Like, why do you do that? Why don't you just appeal to the fans? And I know that the answer is because, there's a very niche amount of people that care about certain characters as opposed to like the general population. But I don't give a shit. Um, like make the budget smaller and give me some props and do some random shit. Make it look like it didn't with fucking Batman 66. Like just do Adam West Batman.
Yeah.
Was it 66? Am I going too far back?
The Adam West stuff was 66, yeah.
Was it 60? Okay.
89 is
Do
like the Keaton Batman.
right. So like do some campy shit. I don't give a shit. Like do
The MCU aren't
like
going to do that, I don't think. But I get your point. I get your point. But unfortunately, it's a money machine, and that's all they give a shit about. And I think they need to, until AI can make like shit that looks like real life. They're not there yet, but they're close. Like some of the new
mhm.
Star Wars stuff that I'm watching, like every day there's new Star Wars stuff coming out, and then it blows my mind. Um, I only watched it on the channel there last week, but there was a video where they told a story after like episode 6, but like with the characters from the Jedi Survivor games, like Cal Kestis and like all the like Merrin and stuff like that, and link that all in with like Ahsoka and stuff, and like Cal Kestis gets to meet like Luke Skywalker, and you're sitting there watching it going like the cutscenes in this are better than the games. They're obviously not quite as good as real life. Like
Right.
um I think the mouths still don't really move properly. Like some of it looks incredible. Like when they're just like kind of standing still, it looks real. Like it looks like you're looking at Return of the Jedi Luke standing beside Cal Kestis by the actor who plays him. It looks like he's really standing there beside like 80 fucking 2 Mark Hamill. Like it's wild. And when they can kind of like I feel like every time that I watch a new video, like they're getting the voices better, it's flowing better. Like they're able to kind of chop up a lot of this stuff and like put it into like I think it was Star Wars Chronicles is the YouTube channel. They just put out like an hour-long video. I haven't watched it yet, but like I'm gonna watch it on my TV, like and treat it like a fucking movie. Like, I'm gonna like watch it as
Mhm.
if it's a film and just see how I kind of perceive it. Cause some of it is a little like distracting, like especially with the older stuff. Like you can kind of tell it kind of takes you out of it when the mouths start sounding weird or it starts like the facial expressions aren't right. But I sat and watched that video last week, and I enjoyed it as if I was watching like proper Star Wars content. So like if you can imagine where that's going to be in a year, 2 years, 5 years,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like when they come around to doing the next big Avengers movie after Secret Wars, like I would say that they will be able to make the vast majority of it in AI. And at that point, you don't need to have Robert Downey Jr. on set because you can just create it artificially and just maybe you get them to do the voice lines. Maybe you probably won't even need to do that. Like, you know what I mean? They could just like they could self-learn his voice from all of the previous movies. Like they just load it all up, boom, away we go. So I don't know if that's the way it goes. I think a lot of people like I personally I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel about it. I don't think I would like it in the long run because I feel like, I would like to see the actual actors doing things rather than just seeing AI slap as they're calling it, and just
Mhm.
pumping out like, comic book adaptations directly to the thing. Like I kind of feel like if they do start doing that, I would be looking for like vast reductions in the price of like cinema tickets and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like I'm not paying the same price to go see a film that didn't actually cost 300 million to make or whatever. You know what I mean? Like where if
Mhm.
it was just something that computers just did and they didn't really do much, they just threw a few prompts or scan the comic book in and go turn this into a movie. You know what I mean? Like it's like that's not really that doesn't really warrant a lot of my money in my opinion because I think it's going to come to a point where we could do that ourselves. Like
Right.
the two of us could sit down and go, okay, what's your favorite Batman comic? Boom, let's make a movie. Like and I think that's where it's going to be in a few years that you're going to be able to just do that yourself. And so I think the whole model is going to have to change. And I think I think it's going to have to get to a point where the actors themselves are on board and maybe they do some voiceover and stuff like that so that it does sound real at least, but it's not going to actually be real. I think we're the whole industry's in the midst of a big shakeup. I think it's very obvious. Like even just looking at, as I say, some of the Star Wars stuff, like how vastly it's jumping in like weeks. Like if you go onto any one of those pages, watch the latest video, and then go back and watch a video from 6 months ago, and it's wild. The technological progression is
Mhm.
insane, absolutely insane. So like where that's going to be in 2 years, I there's some AI stuff that's coming out now that's like tricking people. Like they're making fake videos, and sometimes you watch some of this stuff, or even I've been caught out looking at pictures, and you kind of don't really. I'm not in investigative mode every single time. I'm like just flicking around on social media. So like I see something, I'm like, oh wow, that's cool. And then like later on,
Mhm.
it's like, oh my god, that was fake. I was like, geez, that's just like I didn't even think about it. I was just kind of scrolling. I went, oh, that looks cool. It's like I'm not even thinking about it. Whereas like I think we're gonna get to a point where you're gonna be like magnifying glass looking at everything just to be sure that it's real. So it's
Right.
scary. Yeah.
So the way I see it right now, like I think that in terms of doing everything live action, that's great and all, but as I've said before, why not just do everything animated? Like you can totally do things that are 3D animated. You can see that there are a lot of movies that have been done in the past that have been done in 3D animation, and they're spectacular movies. I mean, you look at Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and it's fantastic. And I know it's a Spider-Man name, but like
Yeah.
that was all Miles Morales, which
I'm with you,
is
bro. I'm with you.
it's a very underrated character. And some people like aren't really that big of fans of Miles, but like he did such a good job. And then you also had the different spiders that were involved as well. And you have this depth of like different iterations. And so they didn't really like make it all about Miles. They kind of made it about the Spider Verse in general, which is really nice. Um, and I thought it worked really well. And so seeing that and seeing the success from that, and then seeing the success from across the Spider Verse, it's like, why don't you guys do what you are so good at, Disney, and do animation? Just do animation. X-Men 97, amazing show. It didn't get the recognition that it should have deserved, but like it was an amazing show. But it's just I don't know, like like I think so much has been fed into the lives of the general population that only live action seems to be the bread and butter at this point, and that they haven't really like hit the nail on the head for anything worthwhile. And so they keep poking, like in my opinion, they keep just poking around and trying to see if they can get something to work. And because they're doing that, they're losing a lot of money because it's not. I don't know. It just doesn't seem to sell, especially for the shows. Like those could have all just been animated,
Yeah.
and like you could do the movies all live action. I don't give a shit. Like you could do all that live action. If you do some animated movies, that's fine. But like do it all. Like do all the movies live action. Do all the shows as animations, and then just
Yeah.
bring it. Bring the stories to life when it needs to go live action.
Yeah, it just doesn't. I don't think the quality's there right now, and I think the fact that they started the MCU live action, so I feel like they kind of think that they need to end it live action. Obviously, yes, Into the Spider Verse, Across the Spider Verse are two of the best Spider Man movies of all time, and they're incredible. And I think they kind of broke out of the whole kind of animations for kids kind of stereotype. And I think
Mhm.
like a lot of people were like, "Oh wow, it's that good. Okay, I'll go watch that." Whereas if that movie wasn't as good as it was, I would not have probably been able to get my missus to watch it, for example, because would just be like,
Mhm.
"Ah, no, I don't watch cartoons," And because the movie's so good, she watched it and she really liked it. But like, she won't sit and watch like X-Men '97 with me, or like, she wouldn't even watch like Marvel Zombies or What If or any of those shows. And I think, again, I would like her to watch them because I think there's a lot of good stuff in there. But um, she just like won't watch that sort of stuff. And I think there's more people that are MCU fans like her than there are like us, unfortunately. And I think that's all they give a shit about. They look at the numbers and they go, okay, we put out What If, it got X amount of views, and then we put out like Hawkeye, and that gets fucking 5 times the amount of views. So it's like, okay, for the MCU, I think we need to be still stay in the whole kind of live action piece, like that side of it. But if, let's say, um What If was on the same level as Into the Spider-Verse, that would really shake shit up, because then they'd be like, holy shit, like we have like everybody watching this stuff, they fucking love it, it's cheaper to make, we can make it quicker. Hey, maybe we just do all of the Disney Plus stuff as anime. But I just don't think that the shows are getting enough eyeballs on them to be able to justify that. Because like, look how
Mhm.
good that Spider-Man, that Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man show was. That was really fucking cool. I really enjoyed that. But I don't think
Mhm.
very many people watched it. I don't. It never broke like the TV charts or anything like that. And again, people like us love it. Like people like my missus won't even touch it. Like, you know what I mean? And that's just the way it is, man. It's just the way it is, and it is unfortunate. Now, if the MCU were to say end, and then they moved into a model of like, big screen is live action and small screen is animation, and maybe they share voice actors. I know like that was like one of James Gunn's plans with the DCU. He wanted every time Superman was going to appear, whether it was in a video game, live action, or like animation on a TV screen or whatever, that it was going to be David Cornsweet voicing that Superman. And like, I love that. I think that's great. That's that's great vision. I think and that would really work to kind of mash up the different mediums. But again, I don't even think DC are really doing that yet. But that's a cool vision, and I think maybe if the MCU wanted to try and do that and do it successfully, like anytime that Thor was on the screen, it's Chris Hemsworth. Like that'd be fucking cool. Like I think that would be really cool, and I think a lot of people would tune in for that if it was actually the full cast. Now I know they kind of tried to do that with What If, and obviously like Paul Rudd's there and all that sort of stuff, and I don't think it ever really truly worked. But is that the medium's fault, or is that like the actual show? Because if the show was as good as Into the Spider Verse, I think everyone would have watched it. So I don't really think you blame the animation so much for that, more so the actual quality of the show. Because like
I
X Men
mean,
'97 was incredible, and I'm kind of going back on my own thing here, but like X Men '97 was fucking mind blowing in my opinion. But again, a lot of the normie fans didn't watch it.
right.
So I don't know. I don't know how you like. I like your idea, and I think it would be good for comic books and the comic book fan base. But I just don't think the big studios are going to go all in on animation, because a massive chunk of the fan base just don't watch it.
Which is so odd. I mean, like I get it. It's just like with the situation for One Piece, like I'm like them redoing, and making the One Piece so that people can enjoy the series as it would be intended for people that watch or like read the manga. So it'd be at that kind of pacing. Um, Seeing that they'll do that shows like how much they give a shit about the source material and whatnot, and so they're willing to just redo the whole thing. I kind of want them to do that as well. But to be fair, and like this is where I kind of draw the line in terms of like the idea that making the original cast still come around to do any sort of voice acting to me is a little annoying because they have schedules, they have things to do, and not sourcing it out to someone who's like hungry and looking for a job and trying to get like some voice acting experience in, like not giving it to that person seems like pretty scummy. I would
Yeah,
much rather like give it to someone who actually should deserve the role to kind of fill those shoes and to be given like that high of an honor. Like, when they do the One Piece stuff, like in the live action, they still technically like they have the original cast. If you put it in Japanese, they have the original cast from the anime do the voice acting, which to me, I was like, damn, that's a lot of fucking work. Like, imagine having to like redo the whole thing. And then the voice actor for Luffy also voiced her opinion, and she was like, as much as I'm excited for the remake and whatnot or the reboot, I really don't want to voice Luffy anymore. I think that that's a different iteration, and I think that it should be honored by someone else that can take up the mantle, and I think that someone else should be on the journey.
yeah,
And as of right now, the animation, like, I think either the animation studios or someone who like probably is her boss was like, no, we're gonna make you do what Luffy. And I was like, God, that's kind of fucked up. Like
yeah,
it's just not cool. Like what if RDJ or Chris Hemsworth or Mark Ruffalo, what if they don't want to do the roles? And so then you put them in the animation and they just sound fucking lackluster, like they have been for all of the animation shit. Like I don't care that it's their voices. Like if it doesn't sound like they're putting enough effort into what they're doing, I don't like, at that point I'm turned off.
yeah. I'm with you there, and like I think, like if you take a look at like the viewership of those shows with the actors, I think it would be even worse without them. Now the content could have been potentially better. Like again, I don't give a shit that Tom Holland doesn't voice the Spider-Man in What If. Like that doesn't bother me at all. Um, it's cool to hear Paul Rudd and Chris Pratt and Chadwick Boseman, like his last like MCU work was in What If, like, and that's cool. I think that's kind of, I think Disney were praying that that was going to be more of a selling point than it was, but yeah, I don't think it's very important to use the actors. I just think with the MCU, just speaking of the MCU, I think they need to kind of try and still keep it as the MCU for marketing purposes. But I think if the MCU was to end, then they have free reign to do whatever the fuck they want. They could have different Spider-Man, different fucking Iron Man, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Like then you can relaunch it and like put 2 feet in on the anime side. And then, if all the older fans like us and people older than us drop off, and then it's just like, the new age, so be it. Like, but all those kids will grow up and more kids will jump on and the next generations all fill up, like, you know what I mean? There's
Right.
always
And
there's always new fans every day.
of course. And I mean, you've already heard me before. I really don't like the idea that they decided to name the area as it is, like being the 616 universe, and calling other universes and doing these like incursions and whatnot, and like making this live action version of like Marvel being the 616. And it's like, I told you before, they really should have just made it its own universe. And like they could still do that. They could literally just go like, you know what, even though they called it the 616, this is just a universe where they just believe that they're that universe.
Yeah, I think it's all coming to an end soon, and to be honest,
I
I
would.
think that won't be an issue going forward. I think after Secret Wars, it's just gonna be Earth Prime or whatever the fuck they go with, like, and that'll be it. Like 616 will be dead, or along with the rest of the universe, and we start again.
Yeah, because I understand that, because like the whole sacred timeline thing. I don't think they understood how deep storylines and the strands of different iterations could be. I think that they were just assuming that, it would just be all in one spot. And then when, fans and whatnot were saying, what about the other timelines? What about the multiverse? What about all this stuff? Like, what about different Peters and different, different iterations? What about House of M? What about Old Man Logan and such? Like, they touch upon all those different iterations. And so they're thinking, look, they got creative enough to go, well, why don't we just try to bank on that? And then they didn't really establish that at the beginning, which is fine. Cause I mean, I'm sure that when they did the comic series and whatnot, they weren't necessarily, intending it to be like, oh, this is like a different universe. It's just over time, it just became different iterations. And then they're like, you know what, let's just put these together as coexisting within the same space. It's just, you can't get there unless, by other means.
Mm-hmm.
And, that definitely works better in the comics, considering that you could just take your time and actually write it out and, come up with a proper story. Whereas like when it comes to Hollywood and business, it's like, no, dude, I need you to like, do the story within like a year and come up with an idea. And then we're just going to run with that idea and we're going to start producing it and making a movie out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like it's always we need to be first kind of crowd when it comes to like business and Hollywood, in my opinion. Like it's just, you gotta be so quick about things. You gotta hit the nail on the head sooner than the other person. And you can't be the second person that came up with the idea anymore, which is kind of funny because it works in the gaming industry. It absolutely works in the gaming industry. If you have an example, PUBG was pretty damn fun from what I understood, but it costs money to pay, to play. You have to buy the game and then play it. Whereas like when Fortnite came around, they were essentially going to be a tower defense game. And then they probably saw the means for PUBG and were like, let's try to do that for our PvP perspective. And let's start focusing on that end because PUBG is so fucking like such a juggernaut. We need to be able to see if we can compete against that, because if we just do tower defense, we're not going to do anything. Not only did Fortnite, do so well from tagging off of PUBG, they also made it free. So then they get all these people that are testing it out like in early stages and whatnot and working out the kinks and, sorting out all the bullshit and then essentially coming up with what is today Fortnite. And then just going ape shit on skins and whatnot. Their skins are insanely done. Like even Call of Duty, like the developers from Call of Duty are trying to figure out how they do theirs so that they could do it on Call of Duty, because a lot of the times the skin work for Call of Duty is very limited. Yeah, that's why we don't have these crazy ass skins on Call of Duty. Like we might have something here and there, but like it's not as fleshed out and beautiful looking as you see in Fortnite. And that's where I see like the positive of Fortnite is that they just have they created this section for themselves from the fact that they looked at previous work. Mm-hmm. And then they had, testers essentially in the form of like early access and whatnot and, beta testing, alpha, all that kind of shit. And then from there, that's when early access became such a blooming thing for developers on Steam. Like that's why so many games are on early access, because like the gaming audience has so much of a say. And then if you listen to them, like, and you do exactly what they're thinking and you kind of get around to as close to what they want, they're going to fucking love your game. And it really shows, man. Like, Slay the Spire 1 was in early access for quite a bit of time. Darkest Dungeon was early access for quite a bit of time. They worked the bugs out and they got that all they got that all situated. And Darkest Dungeon is like one of the best games you could ever play. It's hard as shit, but it's one of the best games you could ever play. Slay the Spire is very, very much more like, oriented towards anybody. You can play it. You can play it at any difficulty you want. It's a deck building game. You have a good time. When they came out with 2, all they did was just do Slay the Spire, add a little flair, gave it some animation boosts, and then we're like, here you go, try this. And we also have it in early access so that we could test out all these different characters. So unfortunately, you can't do that in Hollywood or in the business sense because I mean, how many peer reviews can you do really? Like how many audience viewings can you do to really refine the movie? And even then that costs so much money. So like it sucks that they can't do this, that they can't essentially hit the same vibe as if they were in early access. Wouldn't it be so cool? Like if we get like some rough movies of, I don't know, like if they did like a rough sketch of let's say the Marvels, and then people are like, this is shit, and then they go back to the drawing board and then they do another one and they're like, this is kind of getting good, then they go back to the drawing board. Like, wouldn't that be so cool? But it costs so much. It's just, I know it's unrealistic, but wouldn't, like, I just in my head I'm like, that would be so that would be like perfect. Because then it would just get refined and refined and refined and refined until finally it's like, God damn, we have a hit.
Love it. Have you watched any good movies lately?
Like, I watched
theater, or are you just watching stuff at home?
Stuff at home. I watched Footloose for the first time.
I've actually never seen that movie. I've seen really bits of it. I've seen bits of it on TV and stuff. And like I kind of know, like, I've seen so much of it like referenced in stuff, and I kind of feel like I know the movie, but I've never actually sat down and watched it from start to finish.
It's actually really good.
Yeah. That's cool. I went to see Project Hail Mary like on Paddy's Day. I cannot express how good this fucking movie is, man. Like honestly, it is absolutely incredible. Gosling is just phenomenal in it. Like the story is just great. Not 1 ounce of green screen used apparently. Like it's just really, really good. Phenomenal storytelling, emotional, hilarious, action packed. Like just it has everything in it. Like and it's perfect length. Like I think again, I've been talking to Sharky a lot about it offline because she's read the books and listened to the audiobooks and stuff like that. Like she went in kind of knowing the source material very, very well, and still very much liked it, but had a couple of issues with the adaptation. But in my opinion, like I couldn't have asked for anything more out of the movie myself going in blind, and I couldn't fault anything but what I'd seen. I don't think there's really a true 10 out of 10, but I think this comes pretty fucking close in my opinion. If I'm going to round up, like I'd say like 9.7, and I'd say just it's a 10 out of 10. Like, let's round up, like, but it is just phenomenal. I don't know if you've even seen like a trailer or you know what it's about or anything like that, but it's kind of like a mix between. I was trying to like describe it to some people who like know nothing about it, and I was kind of like, it's kind of like a mix between like Interstellar and like E.T. Like, so it's kind of like the seriousness and all of Interstellar, world's coming to an end, we got to try and find a new place to live or fix the problem or whatever. Basically, the sun's burning out in the galaxy, and they need to kind of find a way to either fix it or do something. And he ends up going on this mission or whatever. So very Interstellar-like. And he basically meets an alien and becomes friends with the alien. So it's kind of like E.T., like, but it's kind of a family-friendly version of Interstellar. But just like the banter the two of them get up to, like Gosling's so funny and serious at the same time, and it's just brilliant, man. Visually, it's stunning. Like there's some scenes and you're just like, wow. Like I saw it in IMAX as well, and it was just, oh man, it was mind blowing. It's really, really good. Highly recommend it to anybody listening to this right now. Like, go to the cinema and see it. Like Sharky's seen it 3 times, like on the big screen. Like it's fantastic, and I would like to. I have a couple of days coming off. I have a couple of days coming up off work soon, and I might try and take the kid to see it. Yeah, I think that would be a cool kind of day out. Like because it's almost 3 hours. I'm like, I hope he'll sit through the whole thing, but I think he'd really love it if he started watching it. Just the relationship between the alien and and Gosling's character is just fantastic. So good. Highly recommend. What else? I was gonna say, again, I don't really want to talk about Invincible too much till you've caught up.
I mean, I know what happens. I don't care.
Yeah, no, it just, I don't know. I feel like if I'm talking to myself about it, it's a little harder to kind of get the flow going. So
you'll always be talking to yourself. I'm never here.
You know what I mean? They just released a Harry Potter trailer for the new show coming out. I haven't watched it yet. I'm kind of scared to watch it, man. I'm no fear in saying I'm a Harry Potter fan. Like, I really like the first 4 movies. I grew up with them. Like, I was like the same age as Harry when those movies came out. I was go to the cinema to see every one of them. Like, around my birthday, they got released around my birthday. So like those first 4 movies anyway were like very special to be growing up. So I'm very skeptical of the show. I don't know why they're fucking making it in the first place. I think
because it's not Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. It's Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
Well, we always had the Philosopher's Stone. That's what the movie's called over here.
But that's you. Who cares about you? Over in America, we've never had the Philosopher's Stone.
It's the same fucking thing. The exact.
Are
same
you sure?
Story. I am.
Because I remember watching the Sorcerer's Stone.
It's the exact same thing. I don't know what the reasoning for the name change is, but it's the exact same book. It's the exact same movie.
I think I think it had something to do with like the namesake of like for alchemy and whatnot, and it was some stupid reason. I think people wouldn't know what I think they were assuming that people wouldn't know what a
Philosopher's Stone is.
I guess so. Like, and they just decided to call it Sorcerer's Stone because people would be, they felt like the American people would be more inclined to watch if they know, oh, so it's sorcerers, like it's a sorcery kind of thing. So okay, it sounds like a source. I don't know. It seems like a bad thing, and it's like, okay, well, okay, are you gonna watch it? They're like, yeah, I'll try it, and then they loved it. That seems to be the case in my opinion, but other than that, like, I have no idea. I have no idea why they even cared about the namesake, other than it's kind of like when I think like there's certain games that came out. I think it was like Zelda games. I believe A Link to the Past is actually called Triforce of the Gods in Japan.
Yeah.
But because it's called Triforce of the Gods, they weren't essentially going to do that, right? You know, for religious purposes.
Right.
So
I think this is something I'm trying to read about it here just while you're talking, but I think it's something, it's like to keep it like not sounding so religious or something.
Yeah. That's essentially the case.
Very religiously uncomfortable is what I'm seeing written here and stuff. It's like, oh, calm down, will you? Jesus Christ.
Right? Like it's no big deal.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so funny. I don't know. People are stupid.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to bring up?
Just that I'm going to the Mariners game on the 31st, and I won't be here on the 1st.
That's okay. That's all right. I might do a little solo stream again, or maybe we'll just break till the week after, and we'll just have a bit of a longer episode when we're all fully caught up on everything. But yeah, like I don't really have anything else really to talk about for now. But appreciate anybody who's listening to this, who's watching it live or catching us on a replay, or if you're listening to us on Spotify as well. Shout out to the listeners. There's a good few of you, and I really appreciate it. We'll be back soon, and enjoy Invincible, enjoy Daredevil. Go to see Project Hail Mary, please. Enjoy One Piece, everything, and we'll catch up on it all soon. Thanks very much, guys. See you in the next one.
Take care.